Let's talk now to Khaled, whose family is in the west of Libya, but also in Tripoli, and he joins us and is watching all of these developments, a very, very fluid situation. Khaled, thanks for coming in to talk to us. I was talking to you just a moment ago, and you were saying you have been in contact with members of your family. What have they been saying to you?
The general message coming out at the moment, and a lot of the people in Tripoli and around the western areas of Libya, the one thing they really want to put forward is they really appreciate and acknowledge the significance of the help from the international community and NATO. However, this is far from over. It's a very significant move forward, the fact that only a week ago we were looking at the rebels taking over towns, and now we're looking at a map of Tripoli and them taking areas of Tripoli. So it is a significant advance, but there is a serious issue with the medical supplies, with doctors. A lot of rebels are getting hit very hard by Gaddafi's people, and they're just not getting the treatment they needed.
Before I come on to that, how much fighting did they say to you was actually going on? How unsafe, how dangerous are many parts of the capital?
Everyone's very scared. I think the celebrations that happened over the last couple of days were very premature, and in a way that did give some confidence to the people that things were going the way they wanted them to. But people are incredibly scared because now it's very random. At least before, they knew there was no fighting, major fighting going on in Tripoli, whereas now they don't know where the people are going to be, where the guns are going to be going off, and there are reports of heavy artillery and tanks being put into place by Gaddafi around the compound, and they're very scared about indiscriminate shooting, hitting random buildings and places.
You were mentioning just there hospitals. Given the fighting, was there any indication of just the level of casualties that are a consequence of all of this?
Well, we set up a couple of months ago a foundation which works towards putting medical supplies and ambulances into Libya to help, and so the reports we're getting back from the guys we've got there are that there are just so many injured people coming into the hospitals, nowhere near enough beds. Most importantly, there just aren't enough doctors, nurses. Even the hospitals aren't getting cleaned. Right now, the floors are red with blood, which is maybe 5 days, 6 days old, some of it. And that in itself has implications for diseases spreading and so on. So the medical situation is dire, as are the food situations, because supplies of food and water even are restrained at the moment from coming in.
And we were just hearing exactly that point from one agency who was trying to get a shipment, a boat in there, but have had to abandon those plans because the security situation deteriorated overnight, underlining exactly the point you were making. And you're sure there's a realistic prospect of a relatively smooth transition eventually once this sort of fighting has concluded? Because I was listening to one analyst on the drive-in this morning who was thinking actually exactly the opposite. It has all the potential to degenerate into tribal fighting and for the country to be, say, 2 or 3 years' time, just a mess.
Well, it's going to be a very difficult couple of years, or however long it's going to be. It's going to be very difficult and very complicated to go. We're going to be starting from ground zero. We don't have, with Egypt, for example, it was a very, very quick revolution. Within a very short space of time, the previous government had been toppled. And so with Libya, we are going to have the opportunity to at least start from zero. And we've also had 6 months now in which to prepare for the future. So at least we've got an advantage on that side. However, it's going to be an incredibly difficult time, and there's no way of predicting how things will go.
Well, Khaled, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us. And just to return to those pictures, and clearly you can see that burning building to the left of the screen, huge plumes of smoke, as there is fighting continuing in pockets of the city, and very difficult to make an assessment of just how much of this capital is controlled by the rebels, but clearly significant resistance and significant fighting going on this morning. But these, the pictures in Libya. We're going to come away and look at some of the day's other news, but that's the scene in the Libyan capital. We'll bring you more on this within the next few minutes.